So there are 8 training manuals in total in The Last of Us Part 2, and of course they are very important as they give you access to brand new skill trees and unlock new abilities that are extremely useful in many of those very tough situations. Of course there's many ways you can find these training manuals, but in this video I'm going to focus on the earliest you can get each and every single one of those training manuals in The Last of Us Part 2. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, a thumbs up on it would be super awesome, and let's jump right into it. Let's begin with the first one, which is the Prep Training Manual. This opens up the crafting skill tree, and you can get this as soon as you reach the downtown area of Seattle for the very first time. Now there's a couple of locations you can find this manual in, including even the courthouse, but the earliest and the easiest is this collapsed bridge right here with the fire truck at the end of it. So what you're going to want to do is to head over there and reach the fire truck. Once you did that, also grab everything besides it, including one of these ladders that gives you a pointer towards the bank, which is another useful location for one of the early weapons in the game, but also grab the right side, which provides some more ammo, as well as this axe, which is also very useful at the start of the game. Once that's done, grab the rope and throw it down, and then use it to access the collapsed portion of the bridge with the second truck that's on its side. And in the back side of that truck is where you will find both the training manual as well as a bunch of other goodies, but the reason you're not seeing it in this footage right here is because my copy of the game was a pre-order, so pre-orders already come with a prep training manual, and it's not going to appear for you anymore since you already have it in your inventory. But it should look something like this. Is the prep training manual. It opens up the crafting skill tree, and it's also going to provide you some really useful skills, including the very first one, which lets you improve your melee weapons. This brings us to the second manual, which can also be found in downtown Seattle right after you open up the gate that requires gasoline in order to power up the generator. But once you've opened up the gate and reached the Saravina Hotel, which is the next area that the game brings you in, you are going to reach the lobby, and you're going to want to clear up all of the infected. Once you've done that, you're going to see this staircase right here, and what you're going to want to do is to climb the staircase up until the utmost top level that you can access, which should be the second level on the Saravina Hotel. Once you did that, you're going to reach the end of the staircase, and here is where you will see this room with the open door with a corpse right next to it. But you're going to want to head over inside of that very room, and once you reach that room, you're going to see this desk with a mirror on the right side of the room, and on the corner of the desk is where you will find the next manual, which is going to be the Stealth Training Manual. And yeah, once you do that, you're going to unlock the Stealth skill tree, and I also recommend you immediately start unlocking the Silencer, since that's going to be extremely useful against literally almost all of the enemies in the game. Let's move over to the third one, the Precision Training Manual, that also opens up the Precision skill tree. You can get this in Hillcrest, Seattle Day 2 chapter, and it's going to be in this liquor store right here once you reach it by finishing the previous area that also holds a number of WLF members. So yeah, you are going to have to take them down before reaching this point. But once you did that and reach the liquor store, go inside of it, and we're going to want to reach the second part of the liquor store, but unfortunately that's blocked, and the only way to reach it is to go through the basement. Be careful because there's 2 shamblers inside of it. You can either squeeze and like prone through some of the holes and kind of bypass them, but in my case I just killed both of them since they weren't too difficult. Once you did that, just go through the basement up until you reach this area of the bathroom, go through these collapsed staircases at the top, and this is where you're going to reach the second portion of the same liquor store. And once you did that, you're going to go here right next to this counter, and on the ground is where you will find the next manual, the Precision Training Manual, that's also going to open up the Precision skill tree. And I definitely recommend investing some first few points into that aim, since it's going to provide you a ton of stability as well as accuracy, which is very useful for all of the weapons. Now the fourth and last training manual that you can get for Ellie is the Chemistry Training, which you can get in Seattle Day 2, the Sephirites chapter, and it's going to be right inside of this apartment building soon after starting the chapter. So you are going to have to travel a little bit of the distance to reach this point, but once you did that, you're going to want to access this apartment building with this truck parked right next to it, and this is the only way you can actually climb inside. So do that, break the glass, go inside of the apartment, and there's going to be a couple of doors that you can open, so just pass through them. There's not going to be any any enemies, at least not yet. And once you reach inside of the second door, inside of this apartment, you are going to see this brown door, but at first it appears that it's locked and you cannot open it. So there's a bunch of WLF members inside of it that are hiding and waiting to ambush you. So what you're going to want to do is to head over to the workbench and like for a few seconds wait, and then you're going to start being ambushed by the members that just came out of the same door. So be careful, there's about 4 of them that's going to ambush you, so just take them down as fast as possible. I've used a Molotov, which was extremely useful against one of them, and then distracted the other ones while I was taking care of the rest. But otherwise, once you've done that, you're going to realize that the same door is now opened. You can go inside, and right at the corner of this bed right here is where you will find that manual. Open it up, and this is going to open up a brand new skill tree, which is going to be that last one called explosives, and it's going to give you access including to the explosive arrows. Again, extremely fun to use, extremely easy, which is why I immediately invested some points into them. Anyway, this concludes the guide for Ellie, and here is where the guide for Abby begins, because she also has her own training manuals, also 4 of them in total. That's going to open up different kind of skill trees compared to Ellie, though there are some similarities to her nonetheless. But one of the first manuals that you can get for Abby is called the Covert Ops, and you can get this in Seattle Day 1 on Foot Chapter, right inside of this big boat that you cannot miss, because this is exactly where the story brings you. So you're going to have to bring a ladder to make a bridge towards it, reach the boat and climb on top of it, and you're going to see that there's an area inside of it that you can go in, and on the right side inside of the boat you're going to find the Covert Ops manual that's going to open up the Covert Ops skill tree. And I definitely recommend you immediately start investing some points into crafting shivs, because this is going to be very useful at taking down clickers as Abby, since you don't really have access to a knife like Ellie does. The 5th training manual on today's list, or the second one for Abby, is going to be the one called Close Quarters. It's going to open up the Close Quarters skill tree. You can get this in the chapter called Hostile Territory, Seattle Day 1, and basically you're going to reach this house. You're going to see a WLF truck passing by that's also going to attract all of these zombies at one of the windows, which is why I recommend kind of using a pipe bomb to take them down like very fast, so you don't have to deal with them later. But otherwise, once you did that, you're going to want to get out of this zone and reach the street level, and on the street level you're going to reach this alley right here with a bakery called the Jasmine Bakery. You cannot miss it, it has its distinct color at the top. It's also called the Jasmine Bakery, but just break the window, go inside of it, and right next to the counter is where you will find this safe right here, and inside of the safe is where you will find the training manual. The code to the safe is going to be 689689. It's on a piece of paper that I'm going to show you how to find it in just a little bit, but it's basically going to provide you access to some more ammo, a few goodies, but also of course that training manual I was talking about. And it is going to be very useful since it provides you with momentum that you can basically use to one-shot every enemy after the first one that you actually take down. So it's actually quite a useful ability, if I might say so. But if you want to also go the legit route and actually find the paper in the first place, head over outside of the bakery and go on the last building on the same side with the bakery, basically the left side. You're going to want to go inside of it and reach the utmost level, the second level. Once you do that, use that ledge over there to jump on the second building, and as soon as you go inside of that building you're going to see this drawer right here, and at the top of the drawer you're going to find this piece of paper that is the one that gives you the actual code. Once that's done, you can jump down, head over to the bakery again, open up the safe, and congrats, you just got another training manual. Moving on to number 7, this is the firearms training manual that opens up the skill tree with the same name. You can get this from the chapter called The Forest in Seattle Day 1, and it's basically after defeating a large Seraphite boss. I'm not going to spoil it or anything, but once you've done that, you're going to see that there's this car repair shop that is right in front of you. You're going to want to open up and reach the next area. So once you're inside the repair shop, you will see that there's a whole bunch of stuff that you can collect, but pay attention to the room right ahead, because that's going to be a kitchen. Again, collect everything inside of it, but on the right side of the kitchen there is an additional room, and you're going to want to access this room as this one is the one that provides with the manual. So you will see the manual on the top of have this small little counter right here. Go ahead and grab it, it's very useful. It also opens up you to immediately craft incendiary shells for your shotgun, which are extremely fun to use and also very useful against all of the enemies in the game. Which of course brings us at the last and number 8 training manual on the list, which is the Ordnance. Also for Abby, opens up the Ordnance skill tree, but this is something that you get in the Coast Chapter Seattle Day 1. So basically you're going to eventually reach this huge ferry, you cannot miss it basically. You're going to reach this point inside of it where you're going to retrieve a crossbow. Again, you cannot miss the crossbow, it's one of the weapons in the game that cannot be missed. So once you reach this point, you're going to see that there's 2 infected in front of you. Use the crossbow to take both of them down, and at the end of this hallway you're going to see a bunch of beds, and at the very last bed on this wall is where you will find one of these ladders that also gives you a code, and you're going to use this code to open up a safe at the top of the ferry that holds up the last manual. So you're going to want to make your way to the top deck. In order to do that, you're going to have to take down or avoid many of these enemies. You're going to reach this staircases and you're going to want to go at the top of them to reach the main deck. Once you've done that, you're going to see that there's another bunch of enemies in front of you, but the actual safe is going to be right behind you as you just reach the top deck. But do be careful that there's going to be a runner right next to this safe. Personally, I already cleared the entire area by the time I reached the safe, so that's why you're not seeing it in this case. But once you've done that as well, go ahead, open up the safe using the code I just provided, and congratulations, you just opened up and got all of the training manuals in The Last of Us Part 2. But yeah, with that being said and done, this is everything for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and again, I'm going to follow up with a ton of other guides on The Last of Us Part 2 here on this channel. In the meantime, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and peace out.